Welcome to Brew Crime, the podcast where we drink brews, talk crime, conspiracies, where I press record properly this time, or whatever catches our attention. This is Mike and my co-host.
It's JT. We had such a great intro for everybody. But I will say this, silver lining, you noticed about 4 minutes in. So that's good. That's good.
Shit.
Do
you have any good
been a lot
Disney? Yeah, we're back to the haunted theme parks again. This one's not going to be Disney related, but JT did some really good Disney impressions the last take.
Oh boy, I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh man,
we divorced that last Zoom, just like Minnie divorced me. I drank too much beer. I met a guy named Mike when he visited, and he introduced me to the stuff.
The pog juice, yes. Oh man. Well,
geez.
I am definitely not doing the Disney thing this time. I'm going for Six Flags, the not so great adventure.
Is it? Did you ever see Six Flags commercials before?
No.
Okay, so real quick, they have these commercials, and for the while in the 90s, early thousands, they had these commercials with this dude that was like bald, creepy, suited, like just I'll have to show you later. It doesn't matter. It's not important. It's inconsequential. But really weird choice, Six Flags. Just saying.
It happens. Well, the beer I chose as a pairing is from Boombox Brewing, which is brewed out of Parallel 49 Brewing in Vancouver, and it's called the Rad Seeker, which is a hazy IPA, 7% alcohol. And when you're going to a theme park, you're going to seek some radness, and this is an older park, so that's not totally a weird thing to say. And this beer is definitely super hazy. You cannot see anything through it.
I cannot see your thumb on the other side.
Or my face on the other side. So yeah.
Well, that too. That's impressive.
Definitely got a sweet fruity nose. I have a feeling this can's not super fresh. It doesn't taste super fresh, unfortunately. But yeah, it's pretty good. It's definitely a juicy, like fruity orange, tropical pineapple. Very little bitterness. It still tastes good, but it just doesn't taste fresh, which is unfortunate.
It's okay. He has a backup.
But it's okay because the story, this park wasn't so fresh.
Oh, Jesus. I have so many jokes I could make, but not even on this show would they work. So
perfect.
Good, don't.
So, Great Adventure opened its doors in 1974, the pet project of Warner Leroy. Warner Leroy was actually the grandson of Harry Warner, one of the founders of the Warner Brothers.
Ah, yes, and his brother was Bald Warner.
Yes. Warner was a very successful restaurateur and a New York City businessman. He came up with the idea for an amusement park that would be 160 acres or 65 hectares called Great Adventure, and a safari park beside it that was 350 acres or 140 hectares. The park would be located in Jackson, New Jersey, and be close to New York City.
Couple things. One, Walt Disney's laughing at him for the size. And two, what's with rich people getting into fields that they shouldn't, thinking that they can? Like amusement park owning or presidency.
Yes.
Just saying. What the fuck, guys? Or
stick with reality TV.
Space travel. Like, yeah.
No, all the rich people should go to space.
And never come back.
Well, but that's what we hope.
And then we'll divide all of your income amongst me. And me.
And the rest of the millions of peoples.
Yeah. Can you imagine Elon? Just Elon. We just send Elon. We disperse, and people are doing fine.
Exactly, right? So the park was to be much like Disney World, with multiple parks, all interconnected with hotels and shopping, all combined, right? The park would be purchased by Six Flags in late 1977, and there would be a big push to get bigger and better and, build the bigger, better rides with it. Development of the rides would slow down in the 1980s, though, and things would go really bad for the park on May 11th, 1984. But that is getting ahead of the story. So first we have to talk about a specific attraction at the park. In 1978, Six Flags Great Adventure wanted to boost their shoulder fall season at the park. For this, they had a new attraction built to test with the hopes of building a bigger version the next year if it was popular. They would contract Tom Rivers Haunted House Company to build a haunted house out of trailers. The first version was built out of 4 semi-trailers with pre-built scenes in each trailer. There would also be a separate trailer as a control room, but the idea was to walk through a darkened haunted house with actors inside meant to freak you out. I mean, it sounds like fun.
Yes.
This attraction was enclosed by a facade that looked like a haunted mansion that was the responsibility of the park operator to have built. Like the company just built the trailer portions, and then the park had to build the outside portion.
Mm-hmm.
The attraction was originally only supposed to be open during the night, as it was a dark, spooky experience.
Mm-hmm.
But it was so extremely popular that they just ran it all day until the park closed for the winter that year.
Wow.
They knew they had a hit on their hands, so they had this test version shipped off to Six Flags St. Louis, where it was used from 1979 to 1982. The Haunted Castle would be built in time for the next season at the park in 1979. It would be far bigger, though. Built by the same group, it would be made out of 17 total trailers this time. There would be 2 mirror image versions of 8 trailers and 1 central trailer where the command center was located. All the trailers were connected and corridors were built out of plywood, and ceilings were also built out of plywood. To doctor up the castle, the walls were covered up with foam, rubber, fabrics, plastics, and tar paper.
I feel like there's a reason you're telling us this makeup.
Oh, yes, there is. There were also wax mannequins and all types of other props to make it really spooky. And it sounds like it probably really worked.
Yeah.
The outside would be done up to look like a castle with a moat. It looked pretty legit. They would also have actors dressed up in all kinds of scary creature costumes with the aim to make the experience memorable. When the park was not busy, they would run just one side of the haunted mansion or haunted castle. But when it was rocking, they opened up both sides so the line would move faster, right? They just funneling those people through.
Right.
The park had no idea that this would end up being their most popular attraction, and as such, it didn't really pay attention to it at all. But that first year, it would have thousands of people go through it some days.
Wow.
Yeah, right? It's just fucking just going great.
People like to be scared, man.
They do. What they had expected to be a 1-year attraction was to become a full-time experience at the park. They would have to extend the lease of the trailers from Tom Rivers Haunted House Company. There was something that was missing from the Haunted Castle, though. Can you guess?
Sprinklers, fire alarms, other safety equipment is what I'm thinking.
There were no smoke detectors or fire suppression systems, and the entire thing was put together using flammable materials other than the actual metal body of the trailers.
Well, listen, their fire suppression system was somebody going, fire!
Oh!
Right? Yeah. It's hot.
So both safety groups for the Six Flag Park, as well as fire marshals, would continually mention that there should be proper fire safety systems in place, but there's an issue. Temporary buildings in New Jersey at the time did not require any fire safety, and these trailers still had their wheels on them.
And like a cheapskate rich guy, nothing changed.
Technicalities are loved by the rich, and the owners of Six Flags definitely fit that bill.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Now, this would continue to be the most popular attraction for years, but as the years went by, one of the few lights in the attraction had started to go out, and no one replaced them.
Oh my
Kids would
God.
use lighters to find their way through the hallways, as we didn't have cell phones or like cell phone lights at the time.
Great.
Yeah, right.
Oh, Jesus, this is not good. I'm imagining just
Yeah. May 11th, 1984 would be as busy a day as any other, with the Haunted Mansion running just half of the attraction at this time. But it was 6:45 p.m. and there were 29 people inside the Haunted Mansion when a fire started in one of the trailers. Seeing as everything inside was flammable and there was a steady wind from an air conditioning system, the fire would spread very fast.
yeah.
Flames were seen lapping 100 feet into the air.
Jesus.
So, quotes about the fire. At first, the smoke was coming out of the top, and then it began to pour out of the haunted house front door. Another quote. There was a lot of smoke, and it did not smell like a wood fire. It was acrid, black, and heavy, and it stunk.
It smelled like rubber and everything else you said earlier.
So
Ugh.
14 of the people inside would escape, with 7 having to be treated for smoke inhalation.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, 8 of a group of 9 teens that went into the attraction together would die in the fire.
Jesus.
The teens that died were Jose Caron Jr., Eric Rodriguez, Lenny Ruiz, Samuel Valentin Jr., and Christopher Harrison, students at Franklin K. Lane High School.
Oh,
And then Nicola Cariza, Suzette Elliott, and Tina Genovese, I think, from Victory Christian School.
I'm gonna go ahead and say that Harry didn't exactly care.
The one that survived was carried out by a staff member as they escaped. They that would die were burned so badly that the firefighters that found the bodies thought that they were mannequins.
Oh my God. Yeah, take a drink after that one.
Yes. Firefighters would be called from all over the surrounding area, and they would have the fire basically out by 7:45. The park didn't even shut down during the fire, even with the black billowing smoke coming out of the haunted castle.
Oh my God.
Yeah, mine had some crime.
Yeah, for sure.
They would be forced to close soon after the fire was extinguished, though. Of course, there'd be a huge investigation when it came to this fire. The New Jersey Department of Labor, local municipality, State Department of Community Affairs, and the Occupational Safety and Health Administration, or OSHA, were all involved as they all had different responsibilities when it came to monitoring places like Great Adventure.
Please tell me that Ocean nailed them to the wall. I hope so. But there's
Only
also
8
a rich person involved.
rich people,
Oh, people, sorry.
because he sold it to Six Flags, right? Only 8 days after the fire, a young 13-year-old boy called the police to say that he saw a young guy using a lighter to find his way through the haunted castle and saw the fire start accidentally when he bumped into a foam wall panel.
Uh-huh.
The older, unnamed kid would be exonerated of any wrongdoing, so
Duh.
it wasn't intentional. Well,
Comes
it
with
could have been
files.
someone trying to cause it, right?
Yeah. I mean, but knowing the situation,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So September 14th, 1984, there would see the beginning of a grand jury trial start in Toms River, New Jersey. Six Flags, Great Adventure, and the parent company were charged with aggravated manslaughter for, quote, recklessly causing the deaths under circumstances manifesting extreme indifference to human life. The charges would also be laid against 2 executives of the park also.
Mm-hmm.
The trial would begin on May 29th, 1985. So here are a few quotes about the trial from Wikipedia, because unfortunately, sometimes you got to go there. The prosecution argued that repeated warnings by safety consultants to install sprinklers or smoke alarms had been ignored. The defendants denied any culpability and contended that the fire was arson, that no precautions would have saved lives, which is bullshit.
So they blamed the kid.
Yeah,
Jesus.
and said that no precautions would have helped anything.
Bullshit.
Water. You've seen that little the video with that little boy. Bullshit.
Bullshit. Bullshit.
The prosecution called as witnesses fire prevention consultants who had inspected the castle and who had recommended the installation of sprinklers or smoke alarms. They told the jury that after 5 years of semi-annual inspections, the devices were not in place when the attraction burned down. Shift managers called to testify stated that none of the exit lights were working, bulbs were missing from other lights, and there were no fire alarms, despite a history of patrons using matches and cigarette lighters in the dark corridors.
Like, okay. So if this was like a carnival and it was a temporary thing and it was taken down and put up in different places, I get it. But this is like your main attraction.
But also, you can get the closest fire hydrant, hoses up, and go.
Yeah. Yep.
So they further testified that their pleas for safety precautions had been rejected by management as too expensive. They also testified that a ripped crash pad in the corridor had exposed foam rubber padding. The boy who had come forward as a witness during the initial investigation repeated what he told investigators earlier, testifying for the prosecution that he had seen another boy his age, a boy he did not know, accidentally set the fire with a cigarette lighter by brushing its flame against a foam wall pad. According to news reports of the trial, no such boy was ever found, and no other witnesses testified to seeing such a boy. Under cross-examination by the defense, the boy denied starting the fire himself. So it's basically, it was probably this kid calling on himself.
Yeah.
From an accidental fire.
Ugh.
So the defense denied any culpability, saying that the company executives had carefully considered all safety recommendations, acting on some and rejecting others, and contending that the fire was arson and that no precautions would have saved lives in a fire when an accelerant was used. The accelerant was the attraction, though.
Mm-hmm.
A defense forensic pathologist said arson might be the cause, saying that high levels of benzene in the victim's bloods could indicate some sinister reason for the fire.
Come on.
However, another defense witness said that there were no burn patterns or other evidence of an accelerant. The park officials testified that smoke alarms had been installed, but the park was unable to control vandalism to them and decided not to reinstall them after 1979.
What? That's gone from neglect to gross neglect at that point. Good God.
A park official testified that having an employee assigned to walk continuously through the attraction was a good alternative to smoke alarms.
So when I said earlier that their version was somebody going fire, that's pretty much
basically it was it. Yeah,
pretty much what happened.
A top fire safety official testifying for the defense said that sprinklers and smoke detectors might have saved part of the structure, but would have not saved lives because by then you would have had a lethal combustion product throughout the facility, suffocating the victims. His testimony was later criticized by other fire safety experts as undermining efforts to advance sprinkler legislation.
If you run an amusement park and you tell me that one of your attractions went up in flames, but even if you had deterrents, it wouldn't help people from dying anyways. I'm expecting the next sentence out of your mouth to be, well, we don't have any harnesses on our roller coasters, but, I mean...
You don't need them, though.
It wouldn't help you anyways.
No. It's not the coaster that kills you, it's the drop.
Right. It's like It's like when my brother told me that you don't need a parachute to skydive. You need a parachute to skydive twice.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. And he would know as someone in the military, right?
He would, and he was licensed to skydive, so
Well,
he's
there you
made
go.
like 100+ jumps.
Damn.
Yeah.
All right, so that's the end of that quote and stuff. After a full 8 weeks, the trial would wrap up, and can you guess the outcome?
Well, they were not found liable.
After a 13-hour, after 13 hours, the jury would find the two companies not guilty on all charges.
Fuck you, jury.
The haunted castle was absolutely a death trap, but according to the legal system, that was fine and dandy.
This was not a jury of anybody's peers but their own.
Yeah. The two executives would end up avoiding the manslaughter charges by taking a pretrial intervention program that gave them community service.
So a plea deal.
Yeah. 7 of the 8 families would sue and settle out of court, where each would get $2.5 million. The last family would do it in court and end up with only $750,000. So after the fire, the ride was demolished and the area was turned into a landscape garden for a time. Moved to the winter of 1993-1994, a new bumper car structure was built on this location.
Mm-hmm.
In 2008, the area of the park was closed to the public. It is in this area, though, that there is talk of 8 ghosts haunting the area. Did they close this area because of the hauntings? I have no idea, but it's definitely creepy as fuck.
Yep, sure is.
I did also want to talk a bit about an incident on the Rolling Thunder roller coaster. On August 16th, 1981, they were running routine tests on the coaster when Scott Tyler, an employee, would fall from the coaster and lose his life. After an investigation, the park would be found to be not at fault and the ride was working as designed. If someone falls to their death, it's not working as per design.
I submit that it is not.
Oh, actually, if it's the theme park made by the creators of Saw, maybe.
Yes, most assuredly. Or that theme park that was depicted with the Johnny Knoxville movie, Point something something.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
The part that I really hate is they concluded that Scott must have fastened himself into the ride in an improper way.
Oh,
And I'm sorry, but the person that gets into a ride is not at fault because someone has to check your restraints before the ride starts.
yes, 100%.
So now on August 31st, 2007, a person that goes by Dirty Jerzembies, so that's their
Okay.
internet name, was at
Uh-huh.
the park with their boyfriend, and while taking some photos before leaving near the Rolling Thunder coaster, this is what they said that they saw from yourghoststories.com. Quote, after taking pictures, we were leaning on a white plastic division blocker for cars when my boyfriend kept looking next to him while we were talking. Then from out of the corner of my eye, I saw some young white dude in the age of between 17 and 23 years old, about 6'1", standing next to me. He had curly red or brownish afro and was wearing a red shirt, like a red, black, and white lumberjack shirt.
Mm-hmm.
I asked my boyfriend if he saw someone standing next to me, and he said no, but I thought I saw someone sitting next to me. Come to find out, we saw the same guy. He described him with blue jeans and old black and white Converse with a red shirt, something he would wear in the 80s or 90s, the kind of old school gear.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there's the haunting of Six Flags Great Adventure.
Not so great.
Yes, and this one actually had bodies.
Yeah, that's terrible. I
Yeah.
can't imagine being locked in a tinderbox like that. I mean, that's
Right?
That's horrible.
And I'm pretty sure that Six Flags Great Adventure is still open today.
Probably. Not only that, but I'm pretty sure they have a solid Halloween thing.
Probably. All right. Six Flags Great Adventure is definitely open still.
Yeah.
3 parks, 1 great adventure. Oh, they have a Flash vertical velocity coaster, it looks like.
Yeah. They pull a lot of IP.
Oh, that is
Um,
really creepy considering they have a Saw X ride, a Saw 10 ride.
You know what? I think I've actually seen a video of that. It's
That's really
interesting.
creepy
Yeah.
considering I brought up Saw as a possible theme park.
Well,
Well, yeah, that's my case. WTF.
mm-hmm. Yep.
All right. Well, thanks for tuning in to Brew Crime. You can find us on all social media platforms at Brew Crime. We have a Facebook group at Brew Crime the Group. If you'd like to support the show, head to patreon.com/brewcrime now. Money goes towards upgrading equipment and making the show that much better. You get one bonus episode a month, as well as early ad-free access to our episodes. So shout out to our Patreon supporters, True Crime Nana, Three Brazilian Podcasts, and the faves of our lives. Bye.
Oh boy, bye everybody.
All cases in Brew Crime are written by Mike and JT or a writer we credit on the episode, and sources are put into our show notes for each episode. We always want to give credit to the people that research the cases we talk about. Check out our store at tpublic.com/stores/brew-crime-podcast, where you can purchase gear like t-shirts, phone cases, stickers, pillows, and all kinds of other cool stuff. Brew Crime's intro was created by Mike using Creative Commons Attribution licensed audio from purple-planet.com, soundbible.com, and freesoundeffects.com. Logo designed by Ben Greenberg. Thanks for listening to this episode of Brew Crime Podcast.
Hey there, I'm Tara.
And I'm Jessica, and together we co-host the podcast Three Spooked Girls.
If you love the paranormal
Or murder.
join us on Mondays for full-length episodes where we discuss our favorite paranormal stories and true crime cases.
And join us again on Thursdays for our mini-sodes called Stabby Snippets, where we tell you all about true crimes happening in the news.
You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Podbean, Spotify, or wherever the hell else you listen to your pods at. You can also find us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook by using the handle @3spookedgirls.
Come and hang out with us and get your spooky on while we scare the hell out of you.
The Three Spooked Girls.
Oh no. How do I make this happen again? It was
I'm so mad. Imagine we did that and it didn't record.
Oh,
Oh,
welcome to indie podcasting.
where your hosts cry on the inside.
And possibly on the outside too.
Take two. Recklessly causing the death. Or
You went Scooby-Doo on that.
so trial would begin on May 24th, May 29th, 1984. There's no 4. The
I do
trial
that all
would
the time.
begin. Oh, I know, right? The prosecution called as a blah, 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 can't speak.